The wind whipped across the barren training ground, kicking up dust that stung the eyes. A high-ranking army general stood with his arms crossed, a deep scowl etched on his face. 15 of his best marksmen had just tried and failed to hit a target set at an astonishing distance of 4,000 meters. The small, white flag seemed to mock them from miles away. 15 shots. 15 plumes of dust erupting far from their mark. The general's patience was wearing thin. Frustration crackled in the air. He turned to the assembled soldiers, his voice booming over the wind. Is there anyone else? Any snipers here who think they can actually hit something? His words were a challenge, laced with disappointment. A heavy silence followed. The soldiers shifted uncomfortably, avoiding his gaze. Hitting a target from 4,000 meters, or nearly 2.5 miles, wasn't just difficult. For most, it was considered impossible. The curvature of the Earth, wind speed, humidity, and even the planet's rotation all become significant factors at that range. It required a level of calculation and instinct that few possessed. Just as the general was about to dismiss the exercise as a failure, a quiet voice cut through the tension. "Sir, I'd like to try." Every head turned. Stepping forward from the ranks was a young female soldier, Sergeante Ba Rostoba. She was unassuming in stature, her expression calm and focused. Some of the men who had just missed their shots exchanged skeptical glances. A woman, and one who wasn't even part of their elite sniper unit. The general raised an eyebrow, his expression a mix of surprise and doubt. "You, Sergeant. What's your experience?" he asked, his tone demanding. Eva met his gaze directly. 3 years in reconnaissance, sir. An extensive long-range training in my own time. I believe I can make the shot. Her confidence was quiet but unshakable. The general studied her for a moment, then gave a curt nod. "All right, Sergeant. The range is yours. Don't waste my time." As Eva walked towards the firing line, a ripple of whispers went through the crowd. This was highly unorthodox. The rifle designated for this test was a specialized high-caliber beast, a piece of equipment most soldiers only dreamed of handling. It was heavier and had a far more powerful recoil than standard-issue weapons. But Eva approached it with a familiarity that surprised everyone. She didn't hesitate. She moved with a practiced grace, her every action deliberate and efficient. She lay down on the dusty ground, settling into position behind the massive rifle. Instead of immediately looking through the scope, she closed her eyes for a moment, taking a deep, slow breath. It was as if she was connecting with the environment, feeling the subtle shifts in the wind, sensing the atmosphere. The other soldiers watched, their skepticism slowly turning into curiosity. There was something different about the way she handled herself. She opened her eyes and began her work. Her fingers moved deftly, making minute adjustments to the scope. She wasn't just guessing. She was calculating. She pulled out a small, handheld weather station, noting the wind speed, the humidity, the barometric pressure. She even checked the temperature of the ammunition itself. Each piece of data was a variable in a complex ballistic equation she was solving in her head. To the onlookers, it seemed like a mysterious ritual. To Eva, it was science. She murmured numbers to herself, her lips barely moving. She was factoring in the Coriolis effect or subtle drift of the bullet caused by the Earth's rotation. At this extreme distance, it could mean the difference between a direct hit and a miss of several feet. This was the level of detail that the previous 15 shooters had overlooked. They had relied on skill alone, but Eva was combining skill with a deep, scientific understanding of ballistics. She was a physicist as much as she was a soldier. Finally, her preparations were complete. The entire training ground had fallen silent. The only sound was the howling wind. Eva placed her eye to the scope, her world narrowing to the tiny, wavering image of the distant flag. Her breathing became slow and methodical. Inhale, exhale. She found the rhythm, the calm center in the storm of pressure and expectation. Her spotter, a seasoned veteran who had been working with the other snipers, watched her through his own binoculars, ready to call out the shot. He had seen countless shooters in his career, but he had never seen anyone with this level of intense, almost serene, focus. Time seemed to stretch. A minute passed, then 2. The general started to tap his foot impatiently. "Well, Sergeant, are you going to shoot or take a nap?" he barked. Eva didn't flinch. She didn't respond. Her entire being was focused on one single point, 2.5 miles away. She was waiting for the perfect moment, the fractional lull in the crosswind, the precise instant when all the variables aligned in her favor. Then it came. Her finger gently squeezed the trigger. The rifle exploded with a deafening crack, kicking back against her shoulder with brutal force. But Eva absorbed the recoil perfectly, her body a rock-solid platform. The massive bullet tore through the air, faster than the speed of sound, beginning its long journey. For a few seconds, nothing happened. The crowd held its breath, their eyes straining to see the distant target. The spotter was glued to his binoculars, his voice tense as he tracked the vapor trail. Shot is away, good trajectory, ... Holding steady ... Double quotes. The suspense was unbearable. The bullet had been in the air for what felt like an eternity. It was traveling so far that it would actually arc high into the sky before descending back towards the target. It was a journey of nearly 7 seconds, and in those 7 seconds, the fate of Ava's audacious claim hung in the balance. Then, the spotter screamed a single word. Hit. Through the powerful optics, they all saw it. The small, white flag at 4,000 meters jerked violently and then disappeared, ripped from its post by the sheer force of the impact. A cloud of dust and debris erupted from the target stand. It was a perfect, dead-center shot. For a moment, there was stunned silence. The soldiers and the generals stared at the empty spot where the flag had been, unable to process what they had just witnessed. They had just seen the impossible happen. Then, the silence was shattered. The entire group of soldiers erupted in a spontaneous roar of cheers and applause. The men who had doubted her were now staring in awe, their skepticism replaced by pure admiration. They weren't just cheering a successful shot, they were cheering a legendary feat of marksmanship, something they would tell stories about for the rest of their careers. Eva calmly extracted the spent shell casing, the metal still warm. She got to her feet, brushing the dust from her uniform, her expression as composed as ever. She turned to face the general, who was walking towards her, his own face a picture of astonishment. The scowl was gone, replaced by a look of profound respect. He stopped in front of her, shaking his head in disbelief. "Sergeant Rostova," he began, his voice now quiet and filled with awe. "I've never in my 30 years of service seen a shot like that. That wasn't just skill, that was artistry." He picked up the hot shell casing she had set down. "This," he said, holding it up for the others to see, "is a testament to the fact that talent knows no gender, no rank, and no preconceptions. It only knows dedication and excellence." He then looked directly at Eva. "You didn't just hit a target today, Sergeant. You shattered a barrier." From that day forward, Sergeant Eva Rostova became a legend. Her story spread like wildfire throughout the armed forces. She was immediately transferred to the Army's most elite sniper school, not as a student, but as an instructor. The very men who had once doubted her now lined up to learn from her, eager to understand the methods behind her incredible abilities. She didn't just teach them how to shoot. She taught them how to think. She taught them the physics of the perfect shot, the psychology of extreme focus, and the importance of meticulous preparation. Her methods revolutionized the Army's long-range training program. Eva proved that a true warrior's greatest weapon isn't the rifle in their hands, but the mind behind it. Her story serves as a powerful reminder that heroes come in all forms, and sometimes the quietest voice can make the loudest impact. It's a testament to the power of perseverance, the pursuit of knowledge, and the courage to step forward when everyone else hangs back. Thank you so much for watching. If you were inspired by Ava's incredible story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing tales of skill and courage. We love sharing stories that challenge our perceptions and celebrate human achievement. Let us know in the comments what you think is the most important quality for a sniper to have. Is it patience, math skills, or something else entirely? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video.